Oh, yeah, yeah.
Call us to order. All right, I'm not sure where we left off last time. Recall?
No, well, I'll start. Last time we talked about the $175 for the settlement agreement for, the cost for the audit, not the audit, the look back. Wonder if you had a chance to do anything with that, if you processed it?
No, I did look back. I didn't find the agreement you referred to, but I'll keep looking for that.
I got it here, Tommy. I'll read it for everybody else so it's loud and clear. It says, the parties agree that there will be an annual audit of the revenue recovery account at the town's expense. So I brought you a little $175 bill. You can certainly have it.
That was for an audit, correct?
Well, this is the wording of the settlement agreement that you and your friend Phil signed for.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Sure. The second thing is, we talked a little bit about it, and I think you talked with Audra and Ken Cast about it. We had basically met the requirements of the settlement agreement. That was the gray area. We were originally arguing over whether it was, we met the settlement agreement requirements.
Well, we had asked for a copy of the bank statements, and you had mentioned you had set a meeting. I met with the TAS, and they proceeded to tell me that they were not going to provide the bank statements.
Right. But where I was going was that 5-month period that I couldn't explain what came in, that was the $37,000 roughly, and the 2 months that was roughly $38,000. We went through the numbers last time. I know Bob and I talked about it. When McIntosh was here, he also agreed it was kind of a wash. So anyway, I think we've met the intent of the settlement agreement. And I know we had a vote over at the firehouse, and that was that the town would say that we met that. And I think I have that motion here somewhere. The MVFD receives notice from the town of Morris that all obligations under settlement agreement have been satisfied, determination to be made freely or subsequent to litigation by town of Morris. And that was one of our, that was one of our motions that we had made. And the only legal opinion I ever got from you, Tommy, was from Mike Ryback, and it said the agreement ran for 10 years from May 30th, 2006, and it's so, as I read it, the January 16, 2016 payment should have been turned over to the town along with the funds collected down to May 30th, 2016, which that was that gray area that we were arguing over. This is
So,
how do you make it?
We haven't received any documentation.
What was the question?
Well, let's get back to some of the charge points, right? So the establishment of this advisory committee was hit some of the charge points that we're
Right.
charged with. An audit for review by the committee for the revenue recovery funds submitted bill.
Right, and we've given you as much as you're gonna get. We've straightened this out before.
So
You wanna go through it again, you're not getting any more.
we're just going through the charge
Just straighten it out,
points.
that's okay, we can repeat it if you want.
The answer is no on
That
that.
would be a no,
Okay. A roster of active members and certification.
which you have.
Certifications, no.
With certification.
It seems to me, Tommy, last time you said you looked it up, that they were all on the state website.
Not all, no. In fact, I made that point to Mr. Epstein. In fact, back in November, actually February 2nd, 2017, at Board of Finance meeting, then Chairman Popbecker requested a fire department membership list outlining who's rated for what service, since it's not on the fire department website. Nor in any of the fire department meeting minutes, President Derone, present at the time, agreed to provide this information, including what every officer is certified for. I think they're waiting for that still.
didn't you just give that in last week?
I'm pretty sure we had, it's one of those games we keep playing.
Yeah.
I thought you went in the radio room, grabbed the roster sheet and handed it over.
We're talking about interior and exterior people.
Okay.
That was just one of the points for the committee.
Well, if you wanna move forward, let's do that.
Well, let's keep going down the list.
Here, take this, and we went over the service level agreement, and all of that is in this service level agreement, that's not taken. Now, we briefly talked about it, and there were some things that we put back in, and I don't really think we'll make too many changes tonight. But in the service level agreement, it talks about us providing you with training, and it talks about us keeping track of all that, and it talks about what's the town's required to do. So we're gonna go back through that, and I don't anticipate getting signed off tonight. But if you want to sign a service level agreement, this covers all the things in here, because we don't have to go back through and hash all this stuff, because it's just another night of wasting time.
Well, you do have the service level agreement that was sent out to all the board members, correct? It's the one we talked about at the last meeting, and in fact, Mr. Black requested that some dialogue or information be put back into it, which we did, and we sent it out to everyone. So you've had it since probably March 9th or 10th.
We changed this back, because we put the NFPA parts back in.
Here you are.
That's why you're getting a copy tonight, so you can take it and review it.
So how about in terms of an inventory, Joel? Because I know we had one on the computer last time we met.
This is the one you proposed last time? Tom?
Yeah, it was sent out to all the members.
Right. We discussed it at the last monthly meeting, and we voted to not go through with that. Monthly meeting of VFD 3/19/2018. And motion made by Ken Cass to begin the application process. Oh, sorry, let me go back to the wrong page. My mistake. Advisory committee discussed service level agreement. Motion made by Kevin Derone to reject selectmen's proposed service level agreement, which is probably all of like 10 minutes long. And motion seconded by Joel Skilton. Motion carried unanimously. So we didn't want to deal with that little short one paragraph. It's just not sufficient. Pass that along.
So so back to the inventory that you had on the computer, we were gonna get copies of.
Correct, and actually, that's in that service level agreement. If you want to go through that and look at it, that discusses it in there. See, we can solve all our problems rather than keep doing this little dance.
So you were going to provide that information to us.
I actually have that information. Albert's not here, but he sent this along. And that's all the equipment. I can't tell you, I don't really know.
This is it. The radios and pagers were not included in this?
I haven't gone through the list, to be quite honest. I received that today.
So all of this equipment, Joel, can be found in the various trucks?
Correct. When you were over there, we went over it, and all the trucks have equipment that's numbered with a number, and all that. That is all the actual items that they are, correct. I think that's a yes, if that's your question.
This is only the equipment that's on the trucks?
I think that was your request.
No, town-owned equipment.
Okay, well, that's what I was given, and I presume that was what you had asked for.
So there's no reference to specific trucks in there?
Or the rest of the equipment?
So why wouldn't the trucks be listed individually as well?
I wouldn't have a clue. It's kind of hard to say we don't have an engine street.
Right. So you would agree that this is probably incomplete?
Well, that's all the equipment, ladders, fittings, axes, saws, hand tools on the truck. It might not list hose. I don't recall looking at it.
It does mention hose from time to time, yeah.
So I noticed here paragraph 2, Joel, you're asking for, you're looking to pursue the PSA application again.
Yes,
And
actually,
at the end of our last meeting, I think we had asked it, matter of fact, right before, I remember saying specifically, are you sure you don't want to pursue that? And your answer was definitely don't want to pursue.
I got outvoted. Actually, I abstained. If you read the minutes, they're up there. That's what I had read about us not going with Tommy's plan. And on the 5th page, that was where we had voted to go through the PSA again. And it came up, and I think it was 11 yeses to 1 abstention, that was me. So the body would like to pursue the PSA again.
So prior to our last meeting, you had some concerns about being able to field enough to service that ambulance.
Well, in Ed Dorsett's report, it also says that the town's got to do, make plans for an aggressive membership recruitment drive to significantly increase the numbers of the MVFD members. So I'm presuming that's the town and the fire department, that's not just us. You recall I offered to go door to door with you, so if you want to go, I'll drive. But for the emergency medical service part of the MVFD, a significant increase in members with an EMT certification is needed. And it's a lot of time for an EMT class. It's a lot of time for an EMR class. Tommy started his. You gotta get people interested, you gotta talk them into it, and you gotta support them with it. And members should also be recruited who can drive the ambulance. And also we need firemen, obviously, too. But that's the critical thing. You know, all this inventory means nothing if you don't have anybody to run it. So I'm concerned that we don't have enough people, and you know, we do have to plan on increasing our numbers, but we're gonna need support for that. Remember last time we had a big discussion on getting physicals done. Tommy paid for interior physicals. Well, we still haven't gotten any exterior physicals approval. So right now, Ed Dorsett's report says we only have a fire department in name only. Well, I have 6 people that have physicals, and nobody else is doing anything. If they get hurt, whose fault is it?
Should be 9. You requested 9. Correct?
Okay. You may have got the exterior, I know it came up as
Who are the
down.
interior?
Bob Everett,
Yeah. He already has one with,
Torrington, correct.
Right.
Counting his exterior, or interior. Brian, he has to take his hazmat over. Me. Albert. Lester.
LC Morris, fire with your Wizard ready on contact, showing the airboat out of service. 1 on red.
But I still need 15 other EMT, EMS, and exterior physicals. It's in the budget. You pay for it every year. This group here approves that budget every year with 20 physicals. We always push for it, and our fire department policy is we give everybody the physicals. I still gotta get Tommy to sign that off. So at some point, Tommy's gonna have to stand up and say, yeah, I'm actually signed off on these physicals. I talked to Pito, so he can take care of that side. But this is one of those things we're not gonna play games with. We've always done physicals. The town approves it, taxpayers pay for it. Tommy's approved it and signed off on it.
I'm confused, so you're requesting 20 sign-offs tonight? Did I hear that correctly?
However many, I'd have to do, I didn't bring a membership form with me, but whatever we have for members, we give all of our members a physical. They either get an exterior physical, or they get an interior physical.
Whether they're a fireman or not, or certified fireman or not.
Correct. If you have somebody who's 50 years old, and you say, help me drag this hose and help me set up this ladder, they don't have to go in a burning building. They can still be running around and have a heart attack. Whose fault is it? Well, you want to make sure they have a physical. If someone falls off a dirt bike in the woods, and you hike out there with a stretcher, and you drag them back, and it's a quarter-mile walk, well, you want to make sure they have a physical. You know, now I got to drag 2 people out of the woods instead of just 1. So we get physicals for everybody, and we've done it for 23 years. And that's our policy over there.
So if that particular person is rated as a interior,
Exterior. We do
oh, exterior, okay.
exterior physicals and EMS physicals, EMR physicals, they're the same physical. Interior physicals, they do a mask fit, they do a spirometry, they do a step test. It's more extensive. You're putting 50 pounds of gear on with a mask, going to a stressful building. You want a little higher care.
so there's, well, I'm guessing now, since you requested, you had a PO of 9 interior firefighters. And you say you have 20, so we have 11 exterior firefighters?
I have to do the math, but I have $5,000 in physicals that we sell the Board of Finance on every year.
I'm just trying to figure out the number of physicals, Joe, I'm sorry. You're doing a PO, that's why I'm looking at it.
I just send people down for physicals, Tommy, it's not that hard.
Oh, no, I'm just requesting the information for it.
I'll make arrangements.
That's what we've been asking for.
But you've never asked before, Tom. I come over to the Board of Finance, I say I need 20 physicals, it's $5,000. They explain it, they understand it, they approve $5,000. That's every person in this room that pays taxes that approves that $5,000. I don't have to worry about you approving it.
Joel,
Tommy, don't
it's a
start.
PO system. And
Yeah.
I think part of the question, it started, the question of the physicals was, after you gave up the EMS side of the service, you were still requesting EMS physicals. That's why there was a question. Why do you need EMS physicals if you don't have EMS? That was part of the reason.
Because
They're still members.
they're still members of the
Still
town.
members, but are they working towards any training in firefighting?
Is it required that they work towards
I think
training?
your bylaws say that, yes.
No, it says they have to be EMTs, or firefighters,
And they're-
or ambulance drivers, or, and I think there's one other thing, but I can't remember what it is.
Correct.
So, and we approve that, that's our bylaws.
Yeah, I've read it.
I know that, but you don't have anything to do with it, those are our bylaws.
That's we're going by your bylaws, Joe.
Yes, and we give somebody a physical that does work for us to the level they're trained at.
Correct.
Good.
How about the OSHA violations, Sean? Are you making progress on those?
Well, it's not really what we're here to talk about, but we're slowly working on that. And again, that's down to the 6 people, and do you want other people to work or not? If you're gonna play the game of only 6 people working, they're never gonna get done.
Yeah.
So can we talk about EMS for a minute?
Sure.
Good. So it sounds like the department has voted to pursue that, getting the PSA back. That takes a letter from the CEO
Sorry, Tom Wilson.
in support of that.
Correct, it takes a complete application.
Yep.
It also takes some talks with the group that has the PSAR right now.
Sure does. They don't have to give it up.
That's a good place to start.
And I think it's a good place for you to start, because you gave it to them, you can talk to them and they give it up. You know, we're not ready for it, so we don't need it right away.
The organization that would like to get the PSAR, really should sit down with the organization that has the PSAR. I'd be happy to be there. I wrote a letter of recommendation for your last application, correct?
Correct?
I signed your last application, correct?
Sure?
So why don't you start with LBA? I'm happy to sit down with you and the chief, and we can talk about it.
We're gonna need that letter of support from you also, because that's gotta go to the state.
Yeah, well, we
Okay.
need a completed application
Yeah.
that I can review, and we can move forward.
Well, we're not gonna send it in until we're ready, so long as you're aware.
And by ready, you mean all the necessary
Well,
qualified people.
I wouldn't wanna send it in with the AEMS people that we have now, because you have to bolster your groups.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna stress one of our current members, if someone says, we need 12 members and I only got 8. Now, there's gonna be no stress over there for this. This is something the town's gonna be behind. There's gonna be more people that join, they're gonna step up. So this is something the town has to get into.
What would you like the town to do?
Well, you said you had 15 members that wanted to be firemen, and you said you had 7 members that wanted to be EMS. Did you send them over?
Did I send them over?
Sure.
I'm not in a position to send any volunteer over to join your organization.
Well,
If they'd like to, they're more than welcome, I'm open.
And we're hoping they're gonna come over, but
Okay.
you tell publicly that there's people that are willing, and we're over there waiting for them. And we need their help.
As soon as they're ready and they feel like it, I'm sure they'll be knocking at your door.
Okay?
And so you have these completed POs tonight, Joe?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't recall seeing the service pump test on engine 1. But this is one that we sent over quite a while ago. But that's the service and pump test for engine 1. And if you have signed it, I apologize, I don't think I've received it yet. That's the quotation one. That's it. Shipments we're putting in for, this is under new hose. This is 25 feet of LEH, and we're getting a fitting for that same hose. That's, actually, this is a brand new one, I just filled that out last week.
And these are things that need to be replaced.
Well, this is under new host,
Yeah.
so that's a regular, it's a regular, yeah, it's a regular item in the budget, Board of Finance budget. We got an old car radio repair, and I don't know why that hasn't been done yet, but I'm resubmitting that.
Have you looked into replacing the radio instead of repairing it? Maybe cheaper?
Sometimes it is cheaper, but usually they'll call us, because they know if it's a $800 pager, it's only a $400 fix, they'll say, it's only $400. If it's one where they say they have no more parts, it's gonna be $450.
So this is one that's mounted in the car?
This is a car radio, correct?
Right.
Is that going to pay for this?
Here.
I think they're gonna have it fixed.
I understand that LVA is gonna send the ambulance back at some point. Have you gotten on that lease for it?
Haven't gotten out of what?
The lease?
We haven't entered into those discussions yet.
It's just that it'll be on a list.
The question on the fit testing, has that been done?
We do our own, but we have not done the M95s. I think that was one of the things they told us we had to do.
So that's yes or?
That we, no,
You
I
haven't
think,
done
no. And keep in mind, well,
Physical first.
Yeah.
yeah, it's in the physicals. You have to have your M95 tests.
that? Well, you have the physicals for the interior, which they would need the fit testing, correct?
We do the fit testing here, correct.
So,
So that's done.
right, oh, it's done?
Yes, we do it in January. Oh, it's not done yet.
You
Ken said we
couldn't do
have-
that again because of physicals, and not everybody's had a chance to go get a physical. Not everybody's been given the approval to go get the physical. So the master test hasn't been done yet either.
Okay. One of the discussions we had was, when I had my physical, they said, if someone is putting on your face mask, and they haven't had a physical yet, this is St. Francis, they said, if you're gonna do your mask fit, they should have their physical before they get mask fit. That was the way it was explained to me.
And then like, OSHA told me there's 7 people that have required this.
Right, well, and they really require just for the interior people.
That's what they required. That's what I'm talking about, the other
Correct.
citation.
Correct.
So that hasn't been done
No.
yet. Okay. The ladders were done.
Yes, you should be getting that PO, that was done 2 weeks ago.
We got the PO last August.
Okay, no, but that was done, the paperwork's probably sitting between here and there, because they were here 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, I think,
And the rest of the gear's all been inspected.
to the best of my knowledge.
You'd be the one, I'm assuming.
In theory.
We're up to date in the SCBA monthly inspections.
As far as I recall.
Well, that was one thing that OSHA pointed out,
Yeah, but they never asked us about STBA inspections.
monthly inspections.
I don't have the answer report from them.
You got a
I
hand.
don't remember this stuff being in the ed report.
Excuse me. This is for the advisory committee.
Yeah, with 4 charges.
Quiet, please.
STBA, done monthly. I'd have to look.
Well, this, I mean, to me, it's kind of a serious concern, especially if there is a fire where you need to go interior and wear the masks.
Well, and if it was really serious, then we would have had the air-packed physicals done, signed off in December, when we first sent them over,
Yeah.
rather than March, when they finally got signed off.
But it seems like you'd be kind of jumping on this one, I would hope.
Well, if we normally do it in January, and you don't approve physicals until March, that's a problem for us, Tommy, and you created the problem.
So, your own internal memo said, forget what first selectman, or I'll put it nicely this way, first selectman White said, go ahead and get your physicals.
Yes. And from you, we get, you're not gonna pay them, so which do you do?
I didn't say that, Joe. I said I need the qualifications, who's interior, who's exterior. It's very simple.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, it's very simple stuff.
When do you expect to be done with the citation list?
Well, after we get all of our people's physicals done, we'll get right on it.
So that's a liability.
Yeah, we normally do our physicals in December, Tommy, but you forbid it.
No,
You
Joe.
created the problem.
Again,
Tommy, please don't lie in public, it's embarrassing.
Guys, I don't wish to be a party to your bickering any longer, right? Let's get back on track with the advisory committee and the charges. You know, that's what we're here for, right? We've spent 4.5 months at this point. You're unwilling to give us an audit or review of the revenue recovery funds as of today, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And in terms of that roster for active members, if we break right now, can we get that roster with certifications to put that one off the list?
I don't really feel you need to have this. And besides, if you look at this agreement, it says we'll provide you that.
Okay, but we're asking for it to be provided now. Actually, we've been asking for it.
It's not gonna happen
We've
now.
been asking for it for 4 months to be provided so that we can move forward to
I don't-
talk about a service level agreement.
I don't feel you need it.
Okay, so your answer is no, you're not gonna provide it, okay.
And didn't we go through this?
I'm just,
Didn't we got
I wanna go
once
through it
already?
right now, because like I said,
I
I
don't
don't wanna
think
be
we
a
need to go
party
through
to
this
you
again.
guys bickering anymore.
And
If
here
we're
we
gonna
are starting
continue,
all
we're not
over
gonna-
again. You wanna bring it right up to the top.
I'm gonna let you speak, and then I'll speak. That's how a
Go ahead.
conversation works.
I
I don't wanna
understand.
argue with you, I'd like to have a conversation.
All right, well, we'll start over again.
So, if we're not going to get through these charge points, I'm not quite sure what we're doing here as a committee. The point of this is to get through the charge points and then move to a service level agreement. It's not the service level agreement first, and we'll put all these to the side and deal with them later. We've been 4.5 months at this. We're gonna continue to go down the list tonight to see what we can knock off, if anything, and maybe we can move forward. So, in terms of the PSR or R1, you have decided that's something you want to pursue.
Correct.
Okay. And in terms of the stretcher, that's a moot point, because if you're gonna pursue the PSR, and we're gonna take the ambulance back, the assumption is the stretcher's going back in there, right?
Also correct.
Okay. And in terms of the inventory list, you provided that tonight, a little incomplete, doesn't really give us exactly what we're looking for. For instance, in the case of hazmat suits, it says bin with hazmat suits. Doesn't tell us how many hazmat suits, doesn't tell us what kind of shape or condition they're in, if 1 or 2 need to be
Those
replaced.
state has those?
Probably the old state
They're out
invoices.
of- they're out of service.
Perfect. In terms of the maintenance records for the town-owned vehicles, you had mentioned